So hey, you're probably as sick of watching looking ahead to the New Year list episodes as I am of making them, but too fucking bad for both of us because they pull good numbers, they ain't hard to make, and early to mid-January is actually pretty busy as hell in this business. Incidentally, next week's show is likely to be a day or three late because I will be spending the weekend working panels and readings at Boston's Arisia Science Fiction Convention. So if you're there too, please feel free to say hello. Anyway, here's the top 10 upcoming 2017 movies that will probably suck, starting with number 10. Right, let's deal with this up front. I hope I'm completely wrong about every goddamn movie on this list. I always want the movie to be good. I don't know a film critic worth his salt who doesn't, and no, this is not the same thing as having already made up one's mind or being biased. If any of these turn out to be good, I will be thrilled to say I had the wrong impression, because for now, all this represents is me sharing expectations I've formed based on currently available information, just like every other human being does upon watching a trailer, seeing a poster, or hearing a pitch. Dear God in heaven, the Emoji Movie is an actual thing that is happening. Number 10, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Nobody asked for another King Arthur movie, and even if they did, I doubt they were asking for another what if it happened in reality gritty reboot thing that's supposedly meant to start a 6-movie franchise, and whatever, nobody cares. Guy Ritchie hasn't made a legitimately good movie since Rock'n'Rolla, and that was 8 fucking years ago. Who knows, maybe this surprises everybody, but right now it's looking like this year's Ben-Hur. The last year Ben-Hur, not the good one. Or the other good one. Number 9, Annabelle 2. The first Annabelle was terrible even if you graded on the generous curve of how good can a cheap cash-in spin-off of the Conjuring movies actually be, but it turned a profit precisely because it was cheap to make, so now you get another one even though there's zero reason to expect anything out of it and nobody really gives a shit. Great. Number 8, Geostorm. Have you heard of this? Probably not. This is a big action disaster movie that was supposed to be the directorial debut of Dean Devlin, the other half to the team behind the original Independence Day, like 3 years ago, that supposedly turned out so damn bad that the studio has spent 2 years and an extra $15 million trying to reconfigure it into something they can actually release by handing the production control over to Jerry Bruckheimer and bringing in the guy who directed the original Judge Dredd to redirect a bunch of it. Oh, and incidentally, the movie is about a terrorist plot to assassinate the president by hijacking weather-controlling satellites to create a superstorm, and stars Gerard Butler, so hey. Number 7, Rings. Hey, remember how bad The Ring 2 was? Remember how you got sick of the whole J-horror hair scare thing, even though those Grudge movies were pretty good? Remember how this was supposed to come out in November 2015, but then they yanked it and moved it to April of last year, and then they moved it again to this past Halloween, and then moved it again to this year? But hey, who knows, maybe it's good, right? Number 6, The Mummy. So, Universal wanted their own answer to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and their big idea was to revive the Universal Monsters, aka the original Cinematic Universe success, and decided the job of the whole thing should go to Roberto Orci and Alex Kurtzman, the two guys collectively responsible for the first 2 Transformers movies, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and the Star Trek reboot. You know, the series that didn't turn out good until someone else was writing it. Anyway, this is the movie that's supposed to set the whole thing in motion. Now, Sofia Boutella from Kingsman is technically playing the Mummy, which is cool, but so far the focus has been on Tom Cruise playing nobody knows actually, but apparently he's the main character for some reason. Some people think his character will eventually turn out to either be the Wolfman or Van Helsing whenever they make those movies, because they haven't cast anyone for ththose roles yet, and Russell Crowe's character is named Dr. Jekyll, so you know where that's going, and Johnny Depp and Javier Bardem are on board as the Invisible Man and Frankenstein, respectively, and I'm sorry, does anybody want this? Does this not sound like the most tedious fucking shit right now? I mean, I am the easiest lay in the world when it comes to classic monster movies, and even I'm getting tired just typing this shit out and then reading it to you. Number 5, The Emoji Movie. This is real. This is a real movie about what if there was a world inside your smartphone and all the emojis were alive and went on an adventure. Yeah, somebody paid a shitload of money for this pitch because they realized a bunch of companies would pay big money to have their apps become characters in location in whatever the fuck the story is. I got nothing else, folks. Those are just facts. They're right there in front of you now. Do with them what you will. Number 4, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Who asked for this? Number 3, Transformers: The Last Knight. Alright, the last Transformers movie was better than the first 3, granted, but it was still pretty bad, right? Sure, maybe 5th time will be the charm and Michael Bay will finally surprise us with what's supposedly his final turn at directing the franchise, which is still supposedly meant to set up a whole new slew of sequels and spin-offs for a Transformers universe, but let's all be honest here, we've stopped expecting these to be good. If I'm interested in all, it's to find out how exactly this also being a King Arthur movie is supposed to work. No, for real, go look that up. Number 2, Power Rangers. Now, on the one hand, we've seen almost nothing from this movie in terms of what's going to make the difference. We haven't really seen the costumes in action, we've barely seen the Zords, whatever. On the other hand, that's not a good sign at this point when the movie comes out in about 3 months. In this day and age, and certainly where it concerns relatively cheap-jack operations like Saban and Lionsgate, if we're not seeing the production value, it means they think they've got to hide it. What we have seen looks derivative, dreary, and exactly the wrong tone for adapting something that, at least from my vantage point, has always worked for about 2 decades now, precisely because it was essentially Sesame Street but with punching. And if this turns out as mediocre as it thus far looks and sounds, that's going to be a pretty big downer. I mean, I don't have much skin in the game, I was too old for Power Rangers by the time Power Rangers came out, but there's a generation who grew up on the original version of this and just now hitting the age when nostalgia starts kicking in, and kids who are still big into the running version now on TV who probably would have both gotten a kick out of a proper movie of this, and it doesn't look like that's what they're going to get. Too bad. Number 1, Justice League. So we're really still going through with this, huh? Man of Steel, Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, this train's just gonna keep plowing ahead until one of them works. I mean, okay, maybe Wonder Woman will come out and surprise everybody in the interim and things won't feel quite so doom and gloom as they do now, but does anything about the build-up to this movie give anyone the confidence it will reverse the downward trajectory of this franchise? What is supposed to inspire confidence here exactly? It looks just like the Justice League movie that would have been greenlit a week after the first X-Men opened, and it would have looked terrible then too for all the same reasons. What they're selling just looks and feels as portentous and joyless as all the previous 3 movies, and the 3 new characters all look alternately ridiculous or dull. What we know of the storyline is just another damn MacGuffin hunt, and we're well past the point where it's time to just admit that Zack Snyder was as poorly suited to a mainstream superhero franchise as Michael Bay proved to be to the Transformers movies, however good an idea that sounded like in the first case in both instances. Look, again, I hope it's good. I hope everything on this list is good and that I look like the biggest Mr. Wrong guy on the planet. And just like all the others, it'll get a fair shake from me on the merits when it comes out. But for now, is anyone sincerely looking at this shit and thinking, yeah, that's gonna be a good time?
Why did you say that name?
Are you sweet-talking me?
In any case, that's the list. Call me an asshole all you want to in the comments, just make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Next week, positivity, I promise.